Guten Abend, Guten Morgen, and Guten Tag, everyone. Man, this market still going nowhere. So yesterday bounces back into the rectangle area. Now it's still within the range. And today is gapping higher, and we'll see whether we'll get some resistance or we will see more strength coming across different sectors. No planning trades for today. Like BE and PL. Tools that maybe is setting up for the long side. USAR can go both way. And semis, this SOXX is bouncing into the weekly 9 EMA. But the daily chart is too extended from the daily 9 and 21. Therefore, I'm hesitate to take the trade. So mainly just observing, being an observer for today. Gold and silver. Actually, I got stopped out for my first attempt, but I re-enter it also in the pre-market. I got stopped out for my entry. I think it's before the pre-market, so I'm using the overnight orders. I believe around here, and then I got stopped out at this candle right here. I re-enter it at the 50 EMA pullback on the bounce into the 50 EMA, and I entered gold first. Yeah, I entered the gold first, and then on the 15-minute breakdown, and then the silver for after gold have breaking down the 9 EMA on the 15-minute chart, and then I shorted the close below the 9 EMA, but on this candle right here. I'm actually I'm feeling pretty, how do you describe, like, don't feeling much stress about on these two trades. First thing is I'm pretty confident, and the second thing is I think my entry is really nice. I really like the two entries are really good to me. So even I got stopped out, I'm happy to take the loss because my decision making is pretty solid for this trade. Really like it. But one thing I don't like is the market is bouncing higher, and hopefully I won't get tested by a lot during the bounce. My view on the market is still the same. I'm looking forward to I'm leaning towards the downside. But with that said, I still like the market is still really polarized. There are some stocks that are still holding up pretty well. Lots of undercut and reclaim yesterday. A lot of them are on the 50 EMA, and a lot of them are from the beaten down names. So they are now serving the rising 9, and the 9 is starting to cross above the 21, such as this Unity is closing above the 9 EMA for the first time since its decline. So maybe it could be a short-term bottom. But I don't want to second guess. I want the market and the stocks to prove itself. One thing that I wanted to focus on is this pre-market, that the futures gap or the pre-market gap. That the Qs is bouncing into the gap of Monday, or maybe you can say it's on Tuesday. 605 level. This one spies the 685 level, and IWM is not yet, but I think they are, you know what I mean? Like they're still below the unfilled gap. Here could be a resistance that but I have no plan to take any trades today, so I don't know. But I don't want to get panic sell before the market confirm is breakout into the resistance area. Wolf is getting a news with the partnership with Perplexity. Now it's gapping up into the hourly 21. I have lowered my stop to break even, so let's see how it plays out. IONQ has been has found support into the rising 9 EMA and 21 too. We'll see. Well, Almer's taking out the 9 EMA. And the memory names are still pretty weak. I'd like to see the reaction on the 50 EMA. Crypto has been bouncing very strong. Still very extended from the 9 EMA on the weekly chart, so not going to take any trades on both the long side and the short side. Yeah, Ethereum is at the low of this channel. Nvidia is bouncing into the declining 9, as well as the gap, the 184 level. Also, the hourly 50 EMA is right there. I think it will be a really important level to focus on. 184 MicroStrategy at the clean 9 EMA, still quite far away from the daily 50. Circle is one of the strongest one. It bounces really strong, up over 110%, and but it's coming near into the 150 EMA. Oh, as well as the anchor VWAP from this swing high here. So I think if you're taking these EPs, like if I have taken the EP on this earnings, probably will sell some into this gap up today. Maybe I will consider like exiting the whole position today. So on the other hand, I think you can say it's also a spot to try shorting, but I think it's a little bit different from like closing your long positions to build your short position. Like for building a position, I would prefer to go a little bit higher to maybe 110. But for like selling a position, sometimes I would be a little bit more casual or aggressive. I just sometimes it won't really reach your target or really rally exactly into the resistance level. So I can lock. It's always good to lock some profits in. SMCI is the one that is really looking good on the weekly, the daily too. Right now I'm too much exposure on the short side, so I'm going to pass on this one. BE is rejecting at the 9 EMA. If I'm focusing on the long side, I don't like this price action. GV a reversal on the declining 9 EMA. Not looking good at the moment. So Kills is rejecting at the after filling the gap right at the 607. yeah, I really wanted to. If I'm not that exposed, like having that much exposure on the short side, probably will considering enter the SMCI today. Nvidia is facing some selling pressure here. No, I'm not in circle. I got stopped out yesterday. If this market is right now is rewarding the pullback buy or pullback short, I think it's still having some 2025 vibe. Like the stock is tends to react to the moving average or the anchor VWAP very positively. Fastly, I think this is a pullback buy. Maybe. Oh yeah, it is a pullback buy. Really nice one into the daily non-EMA and also the anchor VWAP. The anchor VWAP level is a little bit different from the hourly chart and the daily chart, but yeah, hourly chart is much clearer. It's much clearer. This is really clean. Yeah, the South Korea ETF is actually really the parabolic. If it can gap up higher, or the range of this candle will be a little bit wider, it will be better. But definitely the weekly candle tells everything, and the volume too. I'm trying to break out. If it gaps up higher than the ADR, yes, I will. I will just consider it as an EP. But very rarely that will use the opening range breakouts to buy EP. Nowadays, there are too many fake outs in the opening range highs or opening range lows. So I'm probably will wait for the intraday 5-minute or the 15-minute breakout instead. And for the gap up, I think I would treat it as an EP. So if a gap up is above all the EMAs, above the previous highs, the resistance level, the anchor VWAP, then that is a good breakout. Then that's a good EP. But definitely, there are a lot of other different factors to consider in, and that's why I love trading. Like there won't be two trades that are exactly the same. Every trades are unique and independent. Like even the pattern looks exactly the same, I can still make different decisions due to other factors. Maybe the market breadth, maybe the sector strength, maybe the relative strength, or sometimes maybe I just don't like the stock. Maybe memory names are bouncing. Like if the breakout doesn't come with any news or catalyst, then it will be less convincing. But what I mean to like consider it as an EP is because the EP is like it is gapping up at the open. It's not being flat at the open and then go up 5% after the open. So if at the open it has already gapped up for 5%, then I would still consider entering it. But if it's flat at the open or even down at the open and then it rises up 5% after open, then I'm definitely not gonna enter it because it's I think it will be too late. What is ODFL? I don't know about the stock, but I think for the chart, yeah, if you're bullish on the news on the catalyst, then I think it's a viable gap and treat it as an EP. Yeah, but one thing that I don't like is this gapping up into the previous high. And I think generally the first test into the previous resistance area needs more time. But who knows? If the market improves, like if it's a bottom, a short-term bottom for the markets yesterday, then maybe we'll get some follow through to the upside. I really don't know. EE is finding support with the market, but light is losing the 9 EMA. ASTS is following higher after the earnings. Rocktelab is still at the 50 EMA. If the market is setting up higher, I think in NAPS this base is really good looking. I particularly love this kind of a long base for 4 months, maybe 5 months if you're counting the October high. Or with its bouncing, taking up the opening range highs, arm is reversing down. Like each stock is doing their thing. At the past, the individual stocks are like moving like the huskies. They're lining up and then moving in the same direction. But now the stocks are like I don't know, they like the horses, like they're just running freely in an open ranch or just a open grassland. If I want to enter